once again, everyone, and welcome to the Sanctuary. I'm your host, CruiseNickX. Once again, we are playing Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. That's a bit of a trip down memory lane. Now, before we go over the rules, this is going to be the last episode of the Hildibrand quest, and as such, we will be doing it in one full episode. In the past, I did it as 4 separate episodes, but in this episode, we are doing them all combined because I want to condense a fair bit. With that being said, let's go over the rules. I am doing this on New Game Plus with my main character, Chris Valentine. I am doing this as Meteor's Job Warrior from the promotional trailer for Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. I am doing this through duty support, with the exception of raids, alliance raids, and duties that do not support them. In such cases, we'll play it by ear. For most of the Hildibrand saga, I've been doing stuff solo. Last but not least, I should say, we are using quest or patch item max item level appropriate gear. So I am wearing the Ironworks gear glamored with the Warriors gear set, with the exception of the axe, which is the Ironworks axe. Anyway, Anyway, where we left off. The Phantom Thief had stolen a third item, the... what was it called again? Oh yeah, the Ring of Inquiry. Godbert has revealed that they are relics from the era of the Beladians. And when the 4 treasures of Belladia become one, the wicked shall be judged in the blazing light of the sun. But it might be true. But anyway, let's not waste any more time because we got 4 episodes to condense and not a lot of time to do it. We'll go to our side-by-side. We'll open our window capture, which did not. And we will talk to Miss Ellie and complete the quest, Shades of Sildir. Let's get right down to it. I was wondering when you'd show up, Chris. I hope you haven't made any plans for the night because we've got a situation on our hands. Remember our good friend, the Phantom Thief? Well, it seems he's decided to branch out from burglary to cold-blooded murder. If the rumors are to be believed, he's claimed 3 victims already, all influential members of Ul'dahn society. Mr. Many Faces has been kind enough to leave one of his signature calling cards at every scene, leaving no doubt as to the identity of the murderer. The message is always the same. The weight of 5 corpses will bring the scales of justice to balance. More riddles. Not that you'll hear me complaining. No, the only thing my readers like more than a good story is a good murder mystery. Ever since the story broke, the Mithril Eye's been selling like Pons cakes. The only rub is that it's left me with no time to look into the thief's last message. Until now, that is. Shall we, Chris? The hidden treasure of Ul'dahn, was it? If there's anyone who can shed some light on this, it's you-know-who. To sun silk strap tapestries. All right, let's go. If only I remembered a lot more often to teleport to places. Well now, if it ain't my favorite adventurer. And my favorite Mithril Eye reporter along with them. Tell me, What have I done to deserve the pleasure of your company today? I see. Much as I'd like to help the two of my best mates, afraid you've found old Wyman at a loss. Old Dar has more than its fair share of treasures, hidden and otherwise. I reckon our phantom friend could be after just about any of them. I can tell you this much, though. Whatever the thief's got his eyes on, he's got the Sultan sworn in a right dither. Word has it they formed a regiment of their best and brightest to safeguard the royal vaults from this very threat. The Sultan sworn aren't like to be forthcoming with information, but it's the only lead we've got. Come, Chris. I say it's time we paid a visit to the heart of the sworn. Oi! Hold up there, Ellie. Ain't generally the worrying type. May want to think twice before getting yourselves involved in this. Plan in my business develops a nose for danger. This time, the stench is something fierce. You're a reporter, Ellie. Fine one at that. Don't put that pretty neck of yours at risk trying to play the hero. Your concern is touching, but I can assure you that I am ready for whatever dangers lie ahead. Besides, being a reporter is about more than selling papers. I have a duty to seek out the truth and convey it to the people. Come, Chris. Time is of the essence. Scholar's Walk, huh? Off to the Alchemist Guild. I'm free? Halt! Only authorized personnel are allowed in. That'll bugger me with a broadsword! It's the Gentleman of Light's adventuring companion and that catty but cute reporter from the Mithril Eye. Well, well, if it isn't the self-stylized warrior of light. Tell me, what tall tales did you spin to the Sultan's one recruiter to land yourself in this position? Only the 12's honest truth, miss. Seeing that Gentleman of Light standing tall and triumphant that day, it moved me, to the depths of me soul-like. I vowed to put aside my sketchy past and serve the realm just like my hero, Master Hildibrand. The Sultan's sworn were impressed with my commitment and my sword arm, and they gladly welcomed me into their ranks. Wait, don't tell me. You've come to assist Master Hildibrand in his investigation, haven't you? Oh, why didn't you say so sooner? It's the least I could do to help the mates who united me with my role model. You'll be wanting to speak with Phyllis. She's one of the Sworn's best, and something of a history buff, it'd seem. When she heard it, the thief was targeting the 4 relics of Belladia, she personally stepped forward and volunteered to lead the investigation. If anyone has the information you're looking for, it'd be her. Wait here while I go get her. I can trust you not to touch anything, eh? A pleasure to meet you, Phyllis. My name is Ellie from the Mithril Eye. As you may have heard, we're researching the Phantom Thief case and would appreciate any information that may shed light on recent events. The pleasure is mine, Miss Ellie. And if I'm not mistaken, that would make your companion friend here one Chris Valentine, yes? Yep. You know Chris? As any regular reader of the Mithril Eye would. I must confess to being something of an unabashed fan of your work. Though it hardly befits my station to say this, I was secretly hoping that you would show up to assist in the investigation. Doubtless the Inspector too will also welcome a helping hand. The Sultan Sworn, the elite of Uldar's elite. I can only hope they prove more competent than the bungling mercenaries I've dealt with thus far. Inspector Briardian! Always one step ahead of us. Miss Ellie, Chris, a moment if you would. Right there. Very good. Now, face me and don't move an ill. Inspector? What's that in your... Demasking dust. A formula of my own devising that will allow us to see right through the thief's disguises. Analyzing the mask left behind at Vesper Bay, I was able to identify its composition and synthesize a counter agent that would dissolve the disguise whilst leaving the wearer's face intact. In any event, it would appear the two of you are indeed who you appear to be. Brilliant, Inspector! The Phantom Thieves pulled the wool over our eyes for the last time! I fear it won't be so simple. The ingredients necessary to produce the dust are exceedingly rare. Even with the entire resources of the Sultan Sworn at our disposal, we were only able to produce a limited supply. I see. Well, I suppose it's better than nothing. That said, have you been able to identify the thief's next target? A hidden treasure of Ul'dah, the last of the 4 lost relics of Beladia. I fear not. I've poured through the histories time and again, but the only mention of these 4 relics is a vague reference in an old prophecy. Most serious scholars consider it little more than a fairy tale. When darkness falls and hope fades to despair, 4 warriors born of light shall descend in the righteous glare. The legend goes on to describe 4 sacred artifacts, one each possessed by these 4 Beladian heroes, but it makes no mention as to their appearance or nature. 3 times we have tried to identify the thief's target, and 3 times has he foiled us by making off with something else entirely. Needless speculation will only play to the fiend's strengths. All artifacts of Beladian origin have been sealed within the royal vault, and a regiment of our finest assigned to its protection. I have furnished all the guards with a supply of demasking dust, and instructed them to be on the lookout for any suspicious personages. The blackguard will be in chains before he can lay a dirty hand on the vault doors, let alone the treasures within. You have our word, my lady. Oh, wrong voice. But there are even more disturbing matters at hand. Doubtless you have heard of the recent rash of murders perpetrated by our quarry. The Sultan Sworn have launched an investigation, but the truth of the matter is that we have been far too occupied with the defense of the vaults to make any meaningful progress. We would be most grateful for any assistance you could offer. A lady asks, and a gentleman answers. Cast all worry from your heart, my lady. Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has arrived to set right what is wrong and bring the wicked to justice. And this must be the demasking dust that is the talk of the palace. Ah, but you need not waste your supply on me, Inspector. I assure you that I am exactly who I claim to be. A shame, that. Inspector Hildibrand! We were not expecting you, but your services are most welcome. I will share all I know about the recent murders. The killer has claimed 3 victims thus far. The head of a publishing consortium, a high-ranking government official, and an influential scholar. Other than that, they were all influential figures in their respective circles. We can identify no common... Other than that they were all influential figures in their respective circles, we can identify no common threads connecting the 3. Oh-ho! This will prove a most satisfying case to crack indeed. And what is the method of killing? Honked over the head with a cudgel? Gutted with a great sword? Strangled by a subligar, perhaps? I'm afraid that we've identified no pattern. In any event, The murder plots the death of 2 more even as we speak. We must take action, and quickly.
Understood, my lady. Clues may be scarce, but worry not. My realm-renowned powers of deduction are more than up to the task. I will see this burglar turned butcher delivered to justice.
Your presence is heartening indeed, Inspector Hildibrand. Friends, please take this demasking dust with you. I fear we can spare but a single sachet, but I trust you will put it to good use.
Okay. Come to accompany me on yet another case, friend? I like your gusto. If you're auditioning to be my assistant, I fear that role has already been filled most ably. Still, a gentleman welcomes the support of all his admirers. I shall henceforth name you thusly, Chris, my ever-loyal associate. And now, my ever-loyal associate, the investigation calls. I propose that we begin by inspecting the site at which the most recent victim met his demise. My questioning about the palace has revealed that the scholar's body was found not far from the 80 sins of Sasamo. Even the most circumspect of criminals cannot help but leave behind clues. Clues that will not elude my gaze. Friends, let us be off. Pray, alert me should you see anyone suspicious, my ever-loyal associate. We must put Miss Felice's demasking dust to good use.
All right.
That's right. Flowers. Yes, it is all becoming clear now. Our phantom killer is a florist who, in his hurry to escape, carelessly mislaid his wares. Just what do you think you're doing, huh? Huh?
Oh, whoops, wrong voice. Again. I'm the one what put those flowers there, eh? To honor the memory of me poor boy. You dare to defile his memory, eh? Eh?
1,000 pardons, my lady. Please accept my most sincere condolences on your loss. I am Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire. I swear to you, on my own dear mother's name, that your son's killer will be brought to justice. Ahem. As I was just saying, these flowers were clearly placed here by the family of the deceased, which can only mean...
Leave this place. Run away while you still can. Run far, far away. Run, or he'll turn you into a zombie, just like my poor, poor boy.
A living person turned into a zombie? Nonsense.
Not nonsense, my boy. History. Or have you not heard the horrors of Sildir? Aye, Uldar's sibling nation against which we waged war centuries ago. Much blood was shed by both sides, aye, but I speak of far greater horrors than death. An unholy draught brewed by a Sildin alchemist, one with the power to turn the living to the undead, that his nation might command an army of mindless, deathless soldiers, the Trader's Span. They turned my poor boy into a heap of rotten flesh and ran him through. But ye won't hear that from the Sultan Swan. Thal alone knows why, but they whisked the body away before I could so much as pay me last respects. The Trader's Span. I'd heard the stories, but I never thought them true. To be able to procure such a frightening thing, just who are we dealing with here? A Sildin, I'm sure of it. Aye, only a Sildin would know the recipe. But the last remnants of Sildir died 4 centuries ago, you say? Oh, they did! They did! He calls himself the Phantom Thief, he does. But did it ever occur to you that he might be an honest-to-God's phantom? Eh? Yeah? Heard the tales from my own great-great-grandma, I did. About the 4 relics of Bellaria and the powers they hold. The power to exact justice. A spectre of Sildir has returned to wreak vengeance on us. Woe, woe unto us all! Have the 4 warriors of light forsaken us? My dear boy, if only you'd become a trader like your father. If only you'd kept your nose out of those history books and never so much breathed the name of, the accursed name of Sildir. But now you did, and now we're doomed, doomed, doomed!
That was a mouthful. That bleeding whoreson's here somewhere. I can feel it in me follicles. The most potent hair tonic the realm has seen? Aye, that it was. All of a fortnight before my flowing locks fell out all over again. Just as I was chatting up a lovely young lass at the quicksand. Just a twist, a knife, and extra ilm. Ortorank! Charlatan! I'll find that so-called inspector and his sorry band and pull every last strand of hair from their bleeding skulls!
Alright, let's continue.
It's all becoming clear to me now. That dear old woman's testimony has confirmed that which I had suspected from the start. Like a zombie picking away at its rotting flesh, Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, has peeled away the foul scab of uncertainty to reveal the truth within. Open your ears and feast your minds on the fruits of my flawless deduction. Ahem. Our phantom thief is a phantom indeed, a wayward spirit caught between the realm of the living and dead for nigh on centuries since meeting a tragic end on the battlefield. As such, our course of action is clear. We must placate this tortured soul, that it might abandon its vengeful vendetta and travel to the next life in peace. But what is the true nature of the specter's grievances? Without this knowledge, we cannot hope to assuage its rancor. Let us begin our search at the Thaumaturge's Guild. Doubtless the tomes there contain a wealth of knowledge on the ill blood between the sibling nations. Notwithstanding the abject stupidity of everything else that came out of your mouth, some knowledge of Sildir might serve us well. Go research as you will, and do take as much time as you need. You can count on me, Inspector Briardian. Whatever knowledge is to be gleaned at the guild, it shall not escape my inspector's eye.
Alright, back to the Thaumaturge's Guild. Alright, let's gather information.
Gods be good! You're the adventurer who saved me back at the ruins! Researching the ancient feud between Ul'dah and Sildir, are you? Why, I'm pleased to say I have more than a passing familiarity with ancient history.
Before we continue, Neneko is from the Sunken Temple of Karn.
To understand understand the history of the sibling nations, one must go back further still, to the birth of their mother nation, Philadelphia. The fifth astral era was an age of untold wonders, when the arcane arts burgeoned and the great civilizations that commanded such powers flourished. This age of enlightenment would not last, however. Power bred avarice, and avarice bred resentment. It culminated in the War of the Magi, which brought the great floods of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, which in turn swallowed once proud nations and left a battered wasteland in its wake. Mages were reviled and persecuted for having caused this catastrophe, with many forced to leave their homelands or face death. It was a small band of these survivors that found their way to Thanalan, where they would found the nation of Belladia some 8 centuries agone. Imagine a government of mages, bi-mages, and 4 mages. What wonders might have been wrought had Belladian civilization survived to this very day? Alas, this was not to be.
Okay. Erasmus?
You don't say. Not every day someone comes to our halls to research Sildir. As a fellow student of history, though, I more than welcome the conversation. Eladian civilization flourished in relative peace until twin sons were born to the royal family. The two were fierce rivals, and when they came of age and their father passed, each one claimed that he was the rightful heir to the throne. With neither son willing to relinquish his claim, they agreed to split their kingdom in 2, forming the twin nations of Ul'dah and Sildir. But not unlike the 2 proud princes, the sibling nations developed a penchant for rivalry.
Yayaroku? Oh, I gotta fast forward because I accidentally talked to Yayake thinking she was part of the quest.
Greetings, traveler. You would learn of the war between Ul'dah and the fallen Sultanate of Sildir? It would be my pleasure to enlighten you. The 2 city-states coexisted for several generations until the bad blood between them boiled over, culminating in an outright war. As you might deduce from the present state of affairs, Ul'dah emerged victorious, leaving its once proud sibling nation in smoldering ruin. As the histories tell it, the battles fought between the sister nations were the stuff of nightmares. In a desperate attempt to overcome Ul'dah's superior numbers, Sildian alchemists devised the most horrific stratagem. Employing a frightful formula known as the Traitor's Spurn, they brought their fallen warriors back as undead soldiers. Some theories have it that they even employed the potion on those of the living who were too weak or wounded to fight. Sends shivers up the spine just thinking about it, no? It is truly a crowning glory of our fair nation that our forebears were able to emerge victorious against these horrors. And last but not least, Guildmaster Kokobuki. Chris, don't surprise me like that.
What's this? You're here not for your studies, but to learn of the bad blood between Ul'dah and Sildir? Oh! Hold on, there's a line change here that I didn't notice. Oh, this is because I've done, on Chris Valentine, I have done the Thaumaturge's quest line and the Black Mage quest line. Okay. Two scales, one of gold and one of silver. The gold of Ul'dah weighing prosperity and power. The silver of Sildir weighing knowledge and power. But the power sought by the 2 nations differed greatly. Yes, greatly indeed. The power wrought by Ul'dah prosperity was that of justice and good, while the power wrought by Sildir knowledge was horrific beyond belief. The power to rip the living soul out of a man and render him a mindless killing machine. On this matter, the histories are clear. But riddle me this, my friend. Who writes the history? And what does this say of the words writ within? Yes, truth can be elusive and fickle as the shifting sands. As one example, did you know that in the war against Sildir, Ul'dah and Amalja warriors fought side by side? Likely you did not, and neither did I until I encountered a faded passage in an ancient text buried deep in our archive. And yet, in the histories read by the populace, you will see no mention of this most fascinating fact. Might it be that someone at some time deemed this particular truth less than convenient? But I have said enough already. All right. Hildibrand.
My ever-loyal associate, tell me, what have you learned from your questioning of the scholars in these halls? Indeed. As it happens, I have learned much of the same. Let us take a moment to review and allow my peerless powers of deduction to work their magic. A war of succession divides the great civilization of Belladia, giving rise to the sibling nations of Ul'dah and Sildir. The two nations coexist for some generations, until ill blood boils over, culminating in outright war. Daunted by Ul'dah's superior military might, Sildir employs their advanced alchemical knowledge to horrific ends, transforming their own citizens, alive and dead, into a fearsome undead legion. Yes, I believe I have it. The facts at hand have led me to one unassailable conclusion. Our phantom thief is a descendant of Doom Sildir, who seeks vengeance against those who reduced his countrymen to slavering zombies. To pacify his soul and send him peacefully to the next world, there is but one course of action. We must find the Sildin statesman who conceived this dreadful stratagem and have him apologize to the thief in person for the suffering he has wrought. A brilliant plan. Perhaps you'd like to go find yourself a shovel and dig this statesman out of his grave yourself. Leaving aside this nonsense of spirits and specters, it appears increasingly likely that our quarry shares some link to Sildir. His garish garb is no doubt meant to evoke the silver scales of the fallen sultanate. This Sildin connection would also serve to explain the rare knowledge of Belladian relics our thief clearly possesses. But what of the murder victim? What common thread amongst them could have incurred the ire of our adversary?
A few people in town spoke of a man sighted calling upon the victims in the past days. Those who saw him said he had a most frightened air about him.
Wait. Yes, it's coming to me. Of course! My keen inspector senses ring out with a voice loud and clear. This man Miss Ellie speaks of just might know something. You really should stop thinking so hard. You'll like to strain a brain muscle. Miss Ellie, who is this man and where might we find him?
My sources identified the man as Guguria, a traveling merchant known to frequent Horizon. Shall we pay him a visit?
Yes, we shall. After I take a drink. All right, where are we? Yes? If you've got business, make it quick. My time's too valuable to waste chatting with every stranger who passes by. Forgive us, good sir. My name is Ellie, a reporter with the Mistral Eye, never blinking, all-seeing.
You know the rest. I was wondering if we could trouble you with just a few questions.
Was it for love or money that you killed them? Yes, you! A thief of many faces!
Me? A thief? What is this nonsense? I don't know who you are, but I ain't got the time or the patience for this mummery. Now, if you'll excuse me, an important client awaits.
I thought I recognized that voice.
Oh, whoops, wrong voice. Lady Dorilda. Well met indeed. Pray tell, whatever brings you to these environs this fair day?
Well, why, I live here, you ham-headed half-wit. Inspector Briodian, this is an unexpected pleasure. Do you have some business with my associate here, pray tell? Guguria, we can discuss business after. Pray, lend the inspector here, the handsome one, whatever assistance he requires.
But, Lady Dorilda, what about...
Ah, yes. My dear Maria's name day present. I had in mind one of the prize pieces from Estame's latest seasonal collection. You would be able to procure one from me, yes? Or shall I eliminate the middleman and make the trip to Ul'dah myself? I'll say it just once more, Guguria. I expect you to give the inspector and his companions your full assistance. They, yes, even the stupid one, helped me regain something truly priceless. Yes, something more valuable than any mere trinket.
All right. I'll tell you what I know. You didn't hear from me, got it? I was looking into the killing on behalf of a client of mine. The thieves got himself some of that zombie dust. The traitor's sperm, was it? And his cards speak of 5 victims. It got me thinking. Sildir, 5 victims? Aye, the Arbiters of Truth. The Arbiters of Truth. I'm not familiar with the name. Aye, few would be on account of them being something of a secret society and all. Influential personages of the Sultanate, you see, working from the shadows to keep false knowledge about the Ul'dah-Sildir conflict from reaching the ears of folk like you and me. False knowledge? Pray tell, just what sort of knowledge might that be? Those balls! Don't make me say no more! I've got a family to feed! Very well. Just tell us one last thing. Who hired you? Where can we find him? Hob! His name's Hob! When he heard what I said, he told me he was going to set sail for Limsa with his 5 best sellswords to guard his back. Said there were many prying eyes at the airship docks. Said he had a private ship docked and waiting for him at Vesper Bay. But remember, you didn't hear none of this from me. This man Hob must be one of the killer's targets. Doubtless, he also knows the identity of the remaining one. I doubt that. They say the Arbiters are so secretive they don't even know each other's true identities. Now, don't ask me how that all works, but Hob's got high-ranking friends in the Brass Blades. Once he heard the victims had all been zombified, he panicked. Guess he knew that he'd be next. Thank you very much, my kind sir. Once again, the ancient Mandeville Art of Parley has procured for us a key morsel of knowledge. Let us seek out this Hob fellow and see what he can share with us. And let us hurry. The man's life is in danger even as we speak. All right, off to Vesper Bay. Oh, shit.
Master Hop? Is everything quite all right?
No! Stand back, Ellie! Hunger. I hunger for your brains! Damn! There is no saving the man! Chris, do what you must! Yes, my first-hand knowledge of zombies tells me this particular shade of green is unmistakably that of the undead. It seemed we were a few moments late to the scene.
A message. And then there was one.
There it is again.
Is something the matter, Inspector?
Indeed, Nashu, there is. Ever since I picked up the trail of the Phantom Thief, I've had this fleeting sense that someone or something watching us.
The thief might be close at hand. We should be careful.
For the moment, let us return and report our findings to Miss Felice. Secret society or no, knowing the identities of its members may yet lead us to the final victim.
I too had best return to the Mithril Eye. Let's meet up again after... I'll see what new clues I can uncover in the meantime.
You will do nothing of the sort, Miss Ellie. These streets are far too dangerous for you to walk alone.
Inspector! Inspector! I'll go with her.
If you insist, Nashu, then I give my leave. But pray, be wary. Not just of the thief, but of Miss Ellie. She has quite the temper, as we both know. Miss Ellie, there is something I must tell you when this case is over. Be safe, and promise me that you will not attempt anything rash, as you did that time when the fiend took aim at my own life.
Your life, Costa del Sol! Yes, that was quite the ordeal, wasn't it? I'll be careful. I promise. I eagerly await the day when I may hear what it is you would share with me.
A secret vow? Oh, consider my interest piqued as well, good Inspector. Now, let us be off. Miss Felice awaits our report.
All right. We're gonna expedite Bion's trip. And there's Felice.
A fourth victim? I'll have mercy. Were you able to glean aught of a connection to the other victims? The Arbiters of Truth? No. It cannot be. Somebody! Help! Miss Ellie? The voice came from the direction of the vault. We must hurry!
Miss Ellie! Miss Ellie, are you hurt?
That man! I only thought to ask him a few questions. Before I knew what was happening, he was upon me. I could only...
Bash his brains with a conveniently placed bottle of mead, it would seem. Remind me not to get on your bad side, Miss Ellie. That said, is Nashu not with you?
She saw a figure lurking in the shadows and went off in pursuit before I could stop her. This man wears the armor of a Sultan Sworn squire, yet his face is unfamiliar to me. Something is amiss. The thief of many faces? You'd think we would find our men like this.
Twice and again did the fiend elude our grasp, but no more. By virtue of a gentleman's ingenious deductions and a lady's pugilistic puissance, I declare this case closed. I return this sachet to you, Miss Felice. Whilst the gesture was appreciated, in the end it proved superfluous to my cracking of the case. While you're at it, is there anything else of immense value that you would like to wantonly destroy? And the plot thickens.
What? What is the meaning of this?
Ingenious. A double disguise planted by the thief to throw us off his trail, no doubt. This is
Guige, one of my most capable men. I assigned him to guard the vault and outfitted him with an ample supply of demasking dust. It is inconceivable that the thief could so easily elude his grasp.
Unless the thief was not wearing a mask. Speaking of which, has anyone seen Miss Ellie? No. That's impossible! Of course. It all makes perfect sense. The phantom thief to thank for her burgeoning readership and rise through the ranks at the Mystical Eye. Miss Ellie could not bear to face the possibility of her story of a lifetime coming to an end. Thus, she hatched a plan to... My lady! The vault has been breached! The wise man's whisper! It's gone!
For her foul crimes against the Sultanate, I hereby declare Ellie of the Mithril Eye, the thief of many faces and enemy of the state. Deploy all troops and do not rest until she is in custody.
And now the game is truly a... Bah! What is the meaning of all this racket and rumpus? And just as we were about to make our triumphant return! Isn't that so, Enkidu?
Meanwhile... Miss Ellie! Miss Ellie! That shadow you said you saw? I think it was just a dormouse. Think he'd literally stumble face first onto the second mask. His good fortune truly knows no end. But do not worry. Yes, I dare say the Phantom Thief has another trick or two up his sleeve.
All right, we've got a mystery on our hands, but we have little time to stop and stare. Let's move on to the next quest.
My ever-loyal associate, we must find Miss Ellie and quickly. Surely, if confronted by her constant companions, she can still be convinced to abandon this fool plan. Oh, Miss Felice! I thought you had already departed in the company of your men. But all for the better. Shall we conduct the search together?
I fear that would only put them at greater risk. You see, the fifth and final member of the Arbiters of Truth, the Phantom Thief's final target, is none other than
Hildibrand Manda?
me. Mind you, it is not a role I sought of my own accord. My name and my passion for history are somewhat well known in the Sultanate. One day I received an anonymous letter stating that a position in the committee had opened and I had been chosen to fill it. The letter went on to enumerate my duties. To prevent the spread of historical lies that would sully the name of our illustrious nation. As a high-ranking officer in the Sultan's Sworn, I was deemed to be in a particularly unique position to serve as an arbiter. I knew that there were other members of the organization, but was told nothing of their names or identities. To think that my unknown compatriots were the victims all along. I cannot put any more lives in danger. I will sequester myself in a place where my presence can cause no harm until such time as the killer is apprehended.
Your concern for our well-being is most touching, Miss Felice. But there is no need for such caution. As a seasoned inspector, I am more than capable of protecting a lady in distress. And as a gentleman, that is exactly what I shall do. My associates here also stand at your side. Speaking of which, has anyone seen my loyal assistant?
Inspector! Over here!
Ah, there you are, Nashu. You really shouldn't run off on your own like that. I was worried sick about you.
I'm sorry, Inspector. Miss Ellie said she saw somebody in the shadows, so I went to take a look. Now, there wasn't anything there but a dormouse, but it was a really cute dormouse, you see. It just kept squeaking and scurrying away, and I just...
Pardon me for a moment, Nashu. Yes, my Inspector Sense speaks to me. Someone is watching us. Chris, let us split up and canvass our surroundings.
Of course, you're gonna have me run around like a fool. Water stain letter. Be wary and be warned. Trust no one, and your friends all the less. This will avail you well. Use it wisely. You obtain a sachet of demasking dust. The next instant, you feel an intimidating presence behind you.
Ho ho ho! If it isn't my beloved son's staunch companion, the mighty Chris! I was in the area on a matter of business, which I curtailed when I felt a suspicious presence from the shadows. Doing it led me here. Mayhap it is the same for you. Oh ho! So your pursuit of the thief of many faces has taken quite the unexpected turn. And now you have come upon a series of anonymous letters? Mayhap our watcher in the shadows is a friend. Or is this but another trap laid by the fiend? Yes, the plot thickens like a dollop of salamander oil. In either event, I dare say the circumstances call for utmost caution. Thief could be anywhere, or anyone. Myself excluded, of course. No mere mask could replace the physique of this Mandeville man. That said, I fear my dear Hildy may be in a bit over his head this time. Allow me to assist in your investigation. Were anything to happen to Hildibrand, his dear mother would, not be pleased.
Believe me, his mother is something.
What? The sender speaks true. The villain even now lurks within our midst. And yet, we have but a single sachet of demasking dust at our disposal. We must identify the imposter beyond reasonable doubt before we proceed. You know the players better than I, Chris. What say you have a few words with each of them and see if aught seems amiss?
All right.
Miss Ellie is the Phantom Thief. It is the only logical conclusion. Yet, cannot help but feel that another truth still evades us.
Am I doomed to share the same fate as the others? I'd sooner die than become one of those things. Inspector Biotian told me all about it. Who'd have thunk Miss Ellie was the Phantom Thief all this time? She sure fooled me.
I need Arya here.
Nothing particularly odd about any of them, you say? Stands to reason. The Fiend would not take such a risk if he were not utterly confident that he could pull off the ruse.
Curses. This one's not half the fool his son is. I must elude him and quickly. Time is of the essence.
I questioned the Sultan's one outside. To a man, they insist they have seen naught of Miss Ellie. Wherever could she have gone?
Father! What brings you here?
Yes, finally the pieces are coming together. Now, if you would kindly stand still and shut up, the Fiend already stands among us. Inspector Biotian! I should hope you're not doubting me! While I am quite convinced that even a master impersonator would struggle to recreate your particular brand of idiocy, the fact remains that anyone here who has spent even a moment alone must be considered a suspect. The thief has proven to be highly efficient at assuming new identities. An astute observation, my gangly friend. I'd say this occasion calls for a dose or two of that powder Chris here found earlier. There wouldn't happen to be another sachet or two lying about, would there?
Well, what remains of our supply has already been distributed to the search party. But worry not. They should be reporting back within a bell's time. Time might be against me. But just you watch. I'll wiggle my way out of this and turn you into the reeking, drooling corpse you deserve to be.
I fear that is more time than we can afford, Miss Felice. Fortunately, my powers of deduction will lay the Fiend's face bare within minutes. We know that, given the choice, the thief prefers to impersonate familiar personages. As Miss Ellie has had only passing interactions with my dear father, we can safely eliminate him from the consideration. That leaves myself, Nashu, and Chris here. Nashu and I in particular have had a close and extended relationship with our suspect. I shall begin by questioning my own assistant. I assure you that none know her better than I.
Brilliant reasoning as ever, Inspector. Go on. Ask me anything. Of all the times for this overstuffed buffoon starts talking sense, if you ask me anything too obscure, my cover is as good as blown.
My relationship with Nashu is so close, I dare say at times it is as if we share a mind. If this Nashu is truly my ever-loyal assistant, she should have no trouble completing my thoughts. Ahem. I'm Amanda Mandeville. Doing what only a Mandeville
can.
From the peaks of Kurthus to Thanalan, and Amanda Mandeville.
Man, you're the best, Inspector.
A perfect score. You may rest easy, dear friends. This is unmistakably, unequivocally, indubitably the true Nashu.
I've never loved you more than now, you marvelous muttonhead, you.
Nashu? Is something the matter? Just because you picked up a few more wrinkles beneath the eyes, there's no need to avert that charming face of yours.
Wrinkles? Wrinkles! Look who's talking, you crusty, cretinous old... Genius Inspector?
The charade is up, Miss Ellie. Let's do this. Miss Ellie? You look somehow different.
Yep. It's getting there. Seven hells. Done in by a muscle-bound muttonhead and his motley troop of mamas.
Just who are you? Just who are you? Your resemblance to Miss Ellie is most uncanny, and yet...
Consulting Inspector Briardian. Once again, you fail to measure up to your lofty reputation.
Of course, we resemble each other. Ellie is, after all, my own flesh and blood. My beloved sister, and my eminently capable partner in crime. 1,000 faces I may wear, but only one name do I bear. You can call me Ceci. Charmed, I'm sure. Are you quite all right? Why, it looks as if you've seen a ghost. Despite my moniker, I assure you that Ellie and I are no specters. What we are, mind you, are the last living scions of Sildin aristocracy. Bemused, are you? Befuddled? To find two sisters behind the mask? Try using your brains once in a while. Every time you encountered the thief, Ellie was standing right in your midst. No, the thief that 4 times stole the show, oh, and those priceless relics, was me. Meanwhile, Ellie hid in plain sight, supplying me with just the knowledge I needed to stay one step ahead of my pursuers, all while spinning the hair-raising tales of my exploits that won the hearts of this nation. We owe a lot to you. Really? Why, without the tales of your hapless attempts to catch me, we never could have risen to these heights of celebrity.
Miss Ceci, from a gentleman to a lady, I would ask you one thing and one thing only. Just what is it that you and Miss Ellie hope to accomplish with all of your schemes?
Justice! 400 years ago, Uldan dogs reduced our great nation to a nation of zombies. At long last, the cowards that would still justify these foul deeds will suffer the same fate.
Wait. The histories say that it was Sildin that turned their own men into zombies.
The histories lie! And you work from the shadows, silencing those who would speak the truth. You should have died with your fellows, false arbiter! It was Ul'dah that ordered the creation of that dreadful powder, and wielded it as a weapon against our proud ancestors. The history of your glorious sultanate is built on a lie!
What is this madness you speak, woman?
Not madness. Truth! The powder in my possession was stolen from the Ul'dan army 4 centuries ago by one of my ancestors. They say it was his final act of courage in the moments before his leg fell off and his rotting head dropped from his shoulders. This is the truth that the histories don't tell. The truth that this doe-eyed Sultan Sworn would kill to keep buried in the sands of Danalan.
but your time of reckoning is on nigh. Oh, yes. Before long, you and everyone in this rotten nation will know firsthand the horrors my ancestors knew.
Just what do you mean by that?
Oh, how the idiots lap up the stories. A masked crusader for justice. A dashing rebel waging battle against power and authority. Oh, if only they knew. But they will see soon enough. When they're eating each other's brains out on the streets. In the last days before our proud nation was razed to the ground, a band of the final survivors stole a vast quantity of the powder from the Uldan vaults, hiding it away in a secret vault sealed with powerful magics. The sole means by which the vault may be opened? By assembling 4 secret relics from Beladia. 4 relics once housed in the royal palace of Sildir, before the Uldan dogs stole them and claimed them for their own. And so it dawns upon you at last. Yes, even as we speak, Ellie makes for the vault, the 4 relics safely in hand. Just think, one day you'll be able to tell your grandchildren you were there when zombie powder rained down on Uldan. No, wait, you'll all be dead!
Preposterous!
But first, you, my dear. You will not even have the pleasure of looking upon the last moments of your precious homeland. Let your flesh rot like all of your rotten lies!
I think not, Miss Sissy! Hildibrand!
You idiot! Just for once, could you not get in the way? God-bat Mandeville! I can't even trust your sorry ass to look after him for a day!
I knew it! That presence watching over us from the shadows! It was you, my dear wife! Death from above! Am I to understand that you are Hildibrand's mother? Aye, this is more like it. Hand to hand, skillet to skillet. It's enough to send a warrior's pulse racing. Prepare yourself, Chris. The time for our final confrontation is nigh. Ooh.
Do you have puppeteers for brains, you overstuffed buffoon? My beloved boy's been turned into a stinking corpse if you hadn't bloody noticed. You! Chris or something, was it? Hildy told me all about your hijinks together. Pleased to meet ye. My dear boy's always had a bit of a rebellious streak. What can I say? I come on a bit too strong at times. But can you blame me? This time I thought I'd sit back and leave things to my sorry-ass husband here, and look what that got me. You'll help me out, won't ye?
Yeah, sure. I don't make it a habit to piss off blondes with frying pans. All right, what do you need? Reunited with my dear boy for the first time in ages, and just look at him! He's green! Fortunately, there's still time to reverse the zombie curse, and I know just the remedy. A phial of holy water. The ingredients are simple. A tatter of oversold rags, and a phial of twice distilled water. Scent Gold at the market stocks the former, and the latter you can procure from a trader by the name of Guest. Now hurry! Once the poison spreads throughout his veins, no antidote will save him.
In the meantime, I will search for the bumbler's bumbling assistant. With any luck, Miss Nashu will still be alive.
Ouch! That's smart! Ye gods, Hildy! You're looking none too hot yourself.
No thanks to you, you bumbling oaf. Now, are you going to accompany Chris here and make yourself useful? Or do I have to reintroduce you to that wall?
But of course, my lady! Gilgamesh is ever at your service! 10 gold sundries, was it? Come now, Chris, there is work to be done!
Send code is.
Oversold rags, you say? Fear that I've only a single tatter left in stock, and it's already been spoken for.
But my good man, you must reconsider! My dear friend's life, and quite possibly mine own as well, hangs in the balance!
I sympathize with your plight, friend, but a man has to make a living. I've been promised a copious supply of rare chimera membrane for these rags. Unless you can offer me the same, no deal.
Gah! And you expect us to be able to summon such a rarity out of nowhere at a moment's notice?
Well, look what we have here. If it isn't the Warrior of Light from the Colosseum. Funny who you meet at the markets. As it happens, I just returned from my training, and the slaying of 10 chimeras just happened to be on my task today for the day. If it's chimera membrane you seek, you're more than welcome to come to a share.
My lady, you're far too kind!
Don't mention it. If it hadn't been for Inspector Hildibrand and Chris here, I'd still be tag teaming with that slimy beast and cheating my way to fame and fortune. And I'm a woman who pays her debts.
I'll take me if there wasn't a veil of the Tempest!
Ever since you confessed to her trickery and started climbing back up from the bottom of the ranks, I've been proud to call myself one of her biggest fans. I've half a mind to give you the rags you seek simply for the privilege of meeting her.
Kind sentiment, my good man. But we are more than happy to uphold our side of the bargain, aren't we, Chris? And with this, our task here is done. Now, let us find this traitor named Guest.
Want to say this way, but I'm not 100% sure. There he is.
Blundering Mandeville boy is on his last legs and you need something of mine to save him, you say? Perhaps you can give me a good reason why I should care. Those bloody Mandervilles are richer than the traders themselves, yet they have the audacity to haggle me down to the last guild for every purchase. If the family line ended today, I'd be a happier and wealthy man. And now, I believe the ballroom calls. Good day to you. Do pass along my condolences to the grieving parents.
Have you not a shred of honor or compassion in that spindly body? Business rival or no, the man is on death's doorstep.
After the events of that day, my father will not so easily forgive and forget. But it matters not to me. No, my love for you is as deep as the 7 seas.
Oh, whoops. After the events of that day, my father will not so easily forgive and forget. But it matters not to me. No, my love for you is as deep as the 7 seas. I beg of you, my lady, may I have this dance?
Chris! What a lovely surprise! Are you here for the ball, perchance? Heavens! The poor inspector!
Well, if it isn't the lapis maiden in the flesh, what say you bid farewell to preening fops and scruffy adventurers and share a dance with a cultured gentleman befitting your great beauty?
Why, it would be a pleasure and an honor both, my lord. Provided you first provide my good friend Chris with the bottle of twice distilled water that he seeks.
You know this man? Bah! That is the price you would set, then so be it. Take it. Barely worth its weight in gil anyway. Now, shall we, Miss Arabella?
I knew Hildy to be a worthy rival. To think he was this beloved by so many. Clearly, this realm would deeply mourn his loss. Quickly, Chris, let us deliver these goods while there is still time to save him.
I trust the two of you wouldn't care to come back empty-handed. Oversoul rags and twice distilled water. Bloody brilliant! I'd take you over my muscle-headed half-wit of a husband any day. Now, stand back and let me show you some real Mandeville home cooking. All ye bloody bugger! Guide my skillet! Aye, that should stop its spread. Now it's up to Hildy to flush out what's left out of his system. Don't worry, he's my son after all. I reckon he's still got some fight left in him. Look who I found. She was slumbering obliviously in a rubbish-strewn corner of Pearl Lane.
Why did that nap feel good?
Yes, I'm sure it did. Chris, word has it that Ellie has been sighted at the Sildin ruins. You must go there with all haste. You've done well by my dear boy today. Don't worry, I'll handle things from here. There's a nice warm bed for him. I think I know a few specialists who might know a thing or two about his condition. What in the 7 hairs are you standing around for? The future of Aldar is at stake!
My strength is yours as well. For Uldar, and for our friend Hildy.
You remind me of my husband. What, were you having more muscles and sense? If you're so keen on making yourself useful, why don't you run to the market and bring me some fire crystals? Keeping my dear boy warm is key to fighting off the zombification. Let's see. I believe 20 crates or so should suffice.
I am a warrior, not an... yes, my lady. I say, Enkidu, the burden we must bear simply to secure my long-awaited final confrontation with Chris. That said, the events of today have given me cause to reflect. Chris and Hildy both. Oh, to be blessed with such veritable legions of friends tried and true. But alas, not I. No. Only one true friend I have ever known, and she is long lost to me. You are a fine bird, and you have given me great comfort in my travels, but you will never be an Nikidu, my one and true companion. Oh, my friend, were you here with me, even Chris could not stand against our combined might. Oh, Enkidu, wherever you may wander, hear my words and return here to my side. Enkidu, do you hear me? Enkidu! Ye gods! What was that flash from the heavens? It nearly blinded me, and... What? Crystals! Where have they gone?
Fancy meeting you here, old friend.
That voice... Could it be? My faithful companion! Why must you always make me wait so?
We are almost to the end. Let's move on.
What are you doing dilly-dallying around here? Let me jog your memory. There's a moon-sick maid digging around at the Sildar excavation site with a mindset on turning Uldar into the land of the walking dead. Your concern for Hildy is most touching, but don't you worry. Mommy Dennis isn't going to let her beloved son kick the bucket that easily.
All right. The Sildin excavation site. And what we will find is in Central Thanalan. Let's fly.
We've managed to track down Miss Ellie just up ahead, where your friends watch over her as we speak. Yet no matter how many times we try to reach out to her, she refuses to so much as answer. Needless to say, we've considered physically incapacitating her, but that crate she's sitting on isn't just a makeshift chair. It's filled to the brim with the traitor's sperm. One misstep, and the consequences could be dire indeed. You are our only hope, Chris. Even in her single-minded rage, surely the time you spend together must still count for something. You need not put yourself in undue danger. I only ask that you step forth to where your voice may be heard and call out your friend's name. I beg of you, Chris. Surely if anyone can convince the woman to abandon her madness, it is you.
With the chat mode and say, use your keyboard or the software keyboard to call out Ellie and convince your erstwhile friend and companion to listen to reason. All right.
Chris, I suggest you leave this place while you still can. I bear you no grudge, but should you so much as think of interfering, I'll not hesitate to turn you into a zombie too.
So it was you. So it was you after all. Consider me disappointed. Your sister Ceci is already in custody. Surrender now, and I will see that no harm befalls her.
How little you understand us, Inspector. Then again, how could one born into a life of power and privilege ever hope to understand? Tessie and I have no family, no friends, no fortune, nothing. Two sisters against the world, with only our quest for justice to give us meaning. Long ago we made a vow. Should the worst happen, our mission takes priority over all. Yes, over our own wretched lives. Do you see now? Anything I might have once had to lose, I lost long ago. Now stand down, or suffer the same fate as the Uldan dogs you would defend!
Ellie, stop this madness!
I'm sorry, Inspector.
There's too many of them! All in a day's work for a Mandeville man, and now it's hammer time!
Damn! I forgot how freaking OP Hildibrand is.
You only delay the inevitable. I have an entire legion of the undead at my beck and call. Face it, it's only with Inspector Hildibrand's ridiculously good fortune that you even made it this far. And he's as good as 6 films under.
Be forewarned, girl. Know that I speak from experience when I say, underestimate Hildy, and you do so at your own peril.
I'm afraid you underestimate me as well. No mere splash of holy water can stave off the effects of the traitor's spurn. I fear the good inspector's luck has finally run out.
Those balls! Is there no end to them? I'm not liking our chances. Great, was it?
It's a shame to lose you, Chris. Warrior of light that you are, you might yet have served one last purpose for us. Go forth, my zombie minions! When darkness falls and hope fades to despair,
4 warriors born of light shall descend in the righteous glare. Bugger me with a broadsword! Are my eyes to be believed? That pose! No, these are not 4 warriors of light that I see. They are 4 gentlemen of light!
Just so, my good man. Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has made his triumphant return. Did ya miss me? Hey, we meet again, girl. Tell me you've got my snubble tonic, or I'll fashion myself a wig from your lovely locks after I've ripped them clean from your bloody head.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Eleazar. Oh, you're looking absolutely resplendent today. Impossible! The holy water couldn't have cured him!
It didn't. Fortunately, our overlord spent quite some time building up an immunity to zombie powder.
When I heard that Master Hildibrand was at risk of joining the actual dead, we knew we had to take action.
An immunity to... I'm just going to pretend that makes any kind of sense.
The game is up, Miss Ellie. Pray, abandon this madness. Besides,
Thoughts of mass murder hardly suit a lady like yourself.
It's over. It's all over. Inspector Briardian, you said there was something you would tell me when all was through. I imagine you have no words for me now.
Ellie, your powers of deduction are wanting. You said that you had lost everything and everyone you had to lose, did you not? As for me, I have found something, someone, with whom I intend never to part. I care not if it takes years, even decades. You emerge from your jail cell, a free woman. I will be there. What say you? And we never hear the words she says. Maybe something to look forward to in a future Hildibrand episode.
Miss Ellie, while the crimes perpetrated by you and your sister are unpardonable, you are far from the only ones guilty. On behalf of the Syndicate, I offer my apologies for the false aspersions cast upon your ancestors. You said that the nation of Uldar was built on lies. Seeing what I have seen today, I cannot deny your words. It will not be an easy task to rewrite, nay, restore history, but know this. I will do everything in my power to bring the truth to the fore. Ahem. Are we not forgetting someone here? And by someone, I mean me. If you're quite done playing Cloak and Dagger, I require Chris's presence for a matter of far greater importance. Aye, the time of our too long delayed confrontation is nigh. Why the long face, friend? Ah, mayhap this will have you singing a happier tune. Could it be? The treaty blade! And the true one at that! None other! And I have not the slightest intention of parting with it, save to the one who would defeat me in single combat! Ah, but I misspeak. It will not be single combat this time.
Is that my cue, old friend?
I'll be merciful. What is that abomination? Some new breed of void scent?
Abomination? I'll thank you to address my companion with courtesy, girl. Ah, but 'twas the most curious thing. There I was, hauling a crate full of crystals for Hildy's mother, and thinking how much better things would be if my dear friend Enkidu was here. Then came a flash from the heavens, and the next thing I knew, there she was!
By the gods! It makes perfect sense! Doubtless the crystals heard Greg's heartfelt plea for summoning forth his friend. Nay, no mere friend, but rather the primal Enkidu. And the word has now completely and utterly ceased to be bound by the laws of logic.
Chris, you may have bested me in the past, but facing the two of us together will not prove so easy a task. And yet, I trust you will not shirk from the challenge. I, Enkidu, and I shall await you at Underpour Keep. There's a ways from here, but what better venue for climactic confrontation? If you would claim the treaty blade, then claim it from me as a warrior! To the skies, Enkidu! To the skies!
Two against one? That's not very gentlemanly of you, Greg. Come, Chris, to Underpour!
This is a great development indeed. To think that one man could summon a primal on his own. I must send word to the Scions at once.
Don't worry about it, I got this.
Oh, but of course. I had near forgotten we had a warrior of light in our very midst. Please, Chris. You are our only hope to slay the primal and reclaim the blade.
Alright, Underpour Keep, which, if I remember right, is Black Shroud. South Shroud. We'll take Quarry Mill. That's right. And there's Hildibrand
down in the ground again.
Is that you, Chris? Hey, forgive me. I was right on Greg's tail when I encountered a subterranean curiosity that demanded my immediate attention. I will be conducting my investigation forthwith. But in the meantime, might I trouble you to entertain Greg and his primal friend in my stead? Together, we shall reclaim the Treaty Blade from that knave Chris. Yes, just go on ahead. I'll be along directly.
All right, we didn't queue up for it then because it takes too long. Let's get right down to it with... Let's do this.
At long last we meet again on the battlefield. I dare say, Enkidu, you shall come to enjoy our tussles against you and I. You, however, might not find this one so enjoyable. Unless you enjoy getting pounded senseless. Ha!
Let's see how quickly I can...
To my side, Enkidu! A battle is joined! Oh! It hurts! It hurts! Enkidu! Your master wants for succor!
I'm a chicken again. Oh shit. That was a mistake. Get me out of this. There we go. God damn it, you and your fucking chicken.
This should put...
God fucking damn it. Get me out of here. I hate this. I just have to deal with slow. But we're almost done. With Enkidu, that is.
Fight on, Enkidu, my ever faithful! Enkidu! Are the bonds of our friendship so fragile?
Now I get to catch my breath a little bit.
Me? Run away? Ha! I was but seeking out a suitable spot to celebrate our victory. But enough competition. Now we fight like men and ladies who dress like men. For Gilgamesh, it is transmogrifying time. The mightiest warrior ever to grace Eorzea stands before you, by which I mean I, Gilgamesh! Prepare yourself!
This can still be enjoyable if you have some people to take the piss out of it with.
You'll get no quarter from me this time! Have at ye! You have some skill, I'll give you that. But Gilgamesh has only just begun to fight! Most impressive! Very well. I too shall fight with all my strength! Uh-oh! Someone just awoken the dragon! Gilgamesh is in the move! Slicing!
Man, even with Ironworks gear and at level 90, doing this solo.
No! A mighty Gilgamesh will not be defeated! Divide and conquer! Gilgamesh style! And now for something truly shocking!
We're almost there.
Uh-oh, someone just woke the dragon!
Yes!
I think that my full complement of arms would avail me naught. No more hijinks from Gilgamesh. You have my word. The trading blade too I shall return, just as soon as I remember where I hid it. Anyway, I yield to your unparalleled puissance! Spare my insignificant life, I beg of you!
I knew I wouldn't be able to get Enkidu because I already have that minion. What does he say? Oh well, let's go.
Not? Ha! I lied! Again! Oh, like a rug! Oh, I kill me! You can take that fussy old blade for all I care. I thirst for true power, and naught save the strongest of swords will suffice. Warrior of light, you have proven a worthy opponent, but I warn you, treasure every moment with your weapon. For as sure as the day follows night, the hour will come when I claim it as mine own. Till we meet again!
I had to balance that because, you know. Anyway, let's talk to Hildibrand.
But ho, Chris! Have you seen Greg and his oversized avian companion? Lead me to them at once, and we shall deliver the coup de grace together! The battle has already been won? That is triumphant news indeed. Clearly the lessons you have learned from me have not been for naught. And what's this you say? The treaty blade lies hidden somewhere in the nearby wood? Worry not, my ever-loyal associate, for no buried treasure will escape the keen eye of Hildibrand, agent of inquiry and inspector extraordinaire. Now,
Which way was the forest again?
Chris, what news of the primal and the treaty blade? Remarkable. I knew the Warrior of Light would emerge triumphant. Let us hope that Inspector Hildibrand enjoys similar success in finding the blade.
such design, such craftsmanship, at once bold and beautiful, yet sensitive and refined. I believe I found the inspiration for my next masterpiece.
Of course they're beautiful. They were the greatest treasures of lost Sildir. To think that they were locked away in the vaults of those that destroyed our homeland and dragged our ancestors' names through the mud.
And just how did you come to know of these long-lost relics?
There was an ancient scroll passed down in our family, left to us by our dear grandmother. It spoke of the 4 warriors of light, their 4 relics, and an incantation of untold power. If we could have wielded this magic of legend, Ellie and I might still have had the last laugh. Alas, speaking the words had no effect. Only a warrior of light can wield the power, or so the legend goes. What I wouldn't have given to see it. The ultimate achievement of the greatest mages this realm had ever known.
And just what sort of incantation is it?
The ring cast open the doors of justice. The wise man whispers a verdict true. Azema's virtue shines down from the heavens. To complete the incantation, the warrior of light would then hold forth the treaty blade and speak, "Blade in hand, I swear unto you." The legends differ as to what happens next, but all speak of a great holy radiance shining down from the heavens.
Over here, friend! Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, returns with tidings of most triumphant. Behold, safe in my hands, none other than the treaty blade, and the real one this time, I swear unto you.
Yes, yes. Just like that. I swear unto you, then...
My word, whatever is this odd tingling sensation?
Ridiculous! Hildibrand isn't a warrior of light. He's just some fool who thought he could stop the lesser moon with his own bare hands.
It would seem the treaty blade is just as confused as the rest of us.
Now, the light! Someone stop it! I won't stand to see the legendary power of our forefathers wielded by this muscle-bound buffoon!
Skyward ho!
Well,
I dare say that proved to be a most useful incantation indeed.
And so the light of justice that shone from the treaty blade banished the shadow, returning peace to the land. So the legend ended. I must say I never expected it to be quite literally a beam of light. I suppose it wouldn't have been much use to us after all. Inspector! Oh, Inspector! Wait for me! Those balls, Hildy! Those balls, Hildy! First you almost die at your poor mother's feet, and now you fly off to God's nowhere without even giving her a kiss goodbye!
Ho ho ho! It appears that a case of wanderlust has once again struck Hildibrand, as it has many a Mandeville man before him. Godspeed, my boy! Hey, comes that you tire of mystery solving. Your dear old man will be here to pass on to you the family art.
So in the end, the Sildin incantation of legend was wielded not by a warrior of light, but a gentleman of light? Well, the treaty blade is some 6 centuries old after all. Perhaps it is not quite as sharp as it used to be. The magic that brought peace and happiness to the people of Belladia. It was every bit as beautiful as I imagined. To think I would see it with my own eyes. It's nothing short of a dream come true.
He bumbles and stumbles through yet another case, and still he manages to make a girl's dream come true. A gentleman to the end. The bloody bastard. What's this? A glint in the corner of my eye? Curious scent wafting in the wind on the winds from a far-flung land? Do I smell a case? Worry not for me, my friends, for wherever the wrong want for succor, I, Hildibrand, shall be there. Till we meet again! And with that, we have completed the quest line for Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry. We've got 2 more patches to deal with, and I need one more storyline to get to before we do that. So, we will be back in just a moment. If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube, here are the links provided. We will see you in a bit.